Today, in the nerdy news you need to know about, Bandai Namco suffers layoffs and game cancellations. EGM, that's right, Electronic Gaming Monthly is back, sort of, and Super Mario Party Jamboree reviews are out. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside #1 games journalist, Bloomberg's own, and the author of Play Nice, Jason Schreier.
You make it sound like a threat. Oh my god!
Sometimes we have people running.
You're like #1 games journalist. I just want to say this is so professional. I love it. This newish studio. I guess it's not that new, but
2 years yesterday.
Last time I was with you in person for a Kinda Funny show, we were at the old studio. It was like 2018, 2019, something like that. Yeah. And now we're in this like pro time. I even have like I can be like at a news desk.
Shuffle your papers.
My, like, shuffling
yeah,
papers.
exactly.
It's amazing.
Excellent.
I love it.
Well, you congratulate us on our success, Jason. Congratulations on yours. Obviously, you're the name amongst names for people breaking video game news. But of course, yes, Play Nice. The rise, fall, and future of Blizzard is out right now, getting rave reviews. You're traveling the country doing your book tour with it right now. How tired are you?
It's a little bit of a blur for me right now. So if I say something incoherent,
sure. Well, you're next to me.
Well,
I'm pretty sure I didn't say cancellation right. I've been saying cancellation a long time. People are getting like a cancellation.
That's actually cancellation sounds pretty cool.
Does sound cool, right? I like a good Z.
That. The cancellation.
Yeah.
Hey, what'd you do, Jason? Oh, I cancellized some games. Yeah, it's been fun. I was in LA last week for a bit doing some stuff down there, and then I drove up here, which was cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, you miss your family? Are you ready to get back home?
I do miss my family, but like as soon as I get home and have to deal with 2 small screaming children, I'm gonna be like, wish I was back on tour. You always kind of wish when you have small children, you always kind of wish like when you're not with them, you're just looking at pictures of them on your phone, and then when you are with them, you're like looking at other things on your phone, trying to get away.
Yeah, that's great. Bluey's doing great.
Grass is greener.
It always is. Well, congratulations on the book. Of course, I've seen you making the podcast rounds. I'm excited that you're here for us now, right now. Of course, we're going to do a GAMESCAST all about Play Nice, but that's right after this. Obviously, stay tuned. We're a live talk show network. You'll hear about it in a second. But in general, how are you? Are you happy with the success the book has found so far?
I am. So we are recording this. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'll find out like if it made bestseller lists, and so that's exciting.
That is exciting.
But yeah, I mean, it's done extraordinarily well, and very happy and very grateful to all of the readers and the sources who spoke to me for the book and people who helped out along the way. It's been very cool to see.
I want to hear all about it because I want to know how you got these sources. I want to hear all about that.
We'll save it for later.
Save it for GAMESCAST.
First we got cancellation talk.
Shut the fuck up. For now, I'll remind you that this is Kinda Funny Games Daily each and every weekday on a variety of platforms like Twitch, YouTube, and podcast services around the globe. We run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about live. That's right. You can watch us and be part of it if you're using YouTube SuperChats. YouTube SuperChat your thoughts, opinions, and comments on the day's news to be read on the show as we go. Of course, if you're watching live, keep us honest at kindafunny.com/you're wrong with any corrections we need. And of course, if you're watching later, like, subscribe, and share on youtube.com/kindafunnygames where we put all our content and get all the podcasts as well, where you can leave comments and follow and all that jazz. But most importantly, remember, why did they cut to you on that one? What are you doing?
I pressed the wrong button.
I was like, wait, did I miss a cutaway joke? Did I miss a cutaway joke? Of course, remember the best way to support us is with the Kinda Funny membership. $10 gets you all of our shows ad-free, the ability to watch us record our afternoon podcast live as we record them, and of course, your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series we call Gregway. Plus, good karma for supporting an 11-person small business. You can pick that up on patreon.com/kindafunny or youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Of course, we are an 11-person small business all about live talk shows. That means you have so much more happening today and throughout the Kinda Funny ecosystem. Of course, in space, no one can hear you scream unless it's Nick screaming in Alien Isolation on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. Then everyone can hear him scream. Join Mike, Nick, and Andy this Wednesday for a special spooky stream as they attempt to survive Alien Isolation. Come out and support them, and they'll go late. This is Wednesday, October 16th at noon, or whenever GAMESCAST ends. If that wasn't enough for you, Breaking news out of New York Comic Con yesterday. Blessing is going to New York Comic Con this weekend and is hosting the Secret Level panel with Tim Miller and Dave Wilson. The panel is this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're at New York Comic Con, go check that out. Of course, like I said, we're all about live talk shows, so even though you're watching Games Daily right now, the day is far from over. After this, it'll be the Kind of Funny Gamescast, all about Jason Schreier making an enemy out of Blizzard.
Well, that's a little extreme, but okay.
Nah, I thought it was a good headline. We can massage it after the fact if we need to. And then, of course, this stream is going to be a sponsor section about Run from Mummies, and then it'll be me playing New World Eternum, which you know I can't wait for. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you can get today's Gregway. I'm still fielding questions because I haven't recorded it because I was listening to a great podcast in the car. I usually do Gregways in the car.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And but if I get in and I start listening to something good like Death, Sex, and Money, I'm locked in. It's over. I can't get away from it, you know? And actually, where I started was the back half of Tim and Gia's podcast. They put up a thing yesterday about Gia's cancer journey, Jason. And it tugged at my heartstrings, of course, as someone who loves Tim and Gia and also a cancer survivor. Check that out right now. YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames. Kind of Funny Podcast. I digress. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining and Carl Jacobs. Of course, we're brought to you today by New World Eternum, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. Time for some news. 5 items on the Roper Report.
Oh, Baker's dozen.
All right. Here we go.
I've always wondered if Kevin's beeping was live, and now
it is. Yeah, and we miss him so much. You know what I mean? Because Roger, you did a great job with the beeps. You did a great job with the beeps. We loved them. But, you know, we miss Kevin, of course. Kevin just had his first child. I don't know if you caught that news.
Mazel tov to him.
Yeah. He's getting no sleep. We go to Bloomberg, where Takashi is reporting. Yeah, you ever heard of this one? You ever heard of this place?
Can I just say I found out about this story by reading it right here?
So here's a full stop, because I like that you're finding out. How, with you on the road, and then, like, right now, are you on vacation from Bloomberg work, or, like, are you still technically working?
I am not. I was actually in a meeting on my phone in the car on the way here. And he did give us a heads up a few days ago that he was doing the story, but I had no idea when it was going to hit.
Gotcha. So, but are you still, like, are you writing from the road? Are you doing little things?
I'm going to stop by the office. We actually have a San Francisco office right next to the Ferry Building where I'm going to be later tonight, which, by the way, if you're in San Francisco, come to the book passage at the Ferry Building for a signing tonight.
Ferry Building's an awesome place.
So I'm going to stop by there later today, and yeah, trying to get some work. I got to file my newsletter and a couple other things. So yes, I am working.
Okay, good.
So if I just leave, by the way, that's because I got.
Well, that's the thing. Like you get a text, like I have to go. Breaking news.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends what the nature of the text would be. If it was like I don't know, like Shigeru Miyamoto is resigned, then I might be like, no. But the nice thing about being
do you have an insight? Do you have an insight on that? Is that happening?
Yeah, he just resigned.
Wow, damn.
The nice thing about being at Bloomberg is that we have a big team, and so like I don't have to worry that much unless something is coming only to me, in which case it could probably wait an hour anyway.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Back to Bloomberg. Bandai Namco begins to cut headcount after culling game titles. Bandai Namco is cutting its workforce after canceling several titles due to lackluster demand, according to people familiar with the matter. The Tokyo-based company is taking a traditionally Japanese approach to reducing staff and sending workers to rooms where they are given nothing to do, putting pressure on them to leave voluntarily, said the people, asking not to be named, discussing private information. Since April, affiliate Bandai Namco Studios Incorporated has moved about 200 of its roughly 1,300 employees to such rooms, and nearly 100 have resigned, said the people. More are expected to leave in the coming months, they said. Such quote-unquote expulsion rooms are sometimes used by Japanese corporations in a country with some of the world's strictest labor protection laws. Employees are typically given no work-related tasks, but are left with the knowledge that their performance will give managers ammunition to cut severance when they do leave. Many employees use their time in such rooms to look for other jobs. Quote, our decisions to discontinue games are based on comprehensive assessments of the situation. Some employees may need to wait a certain amount of time before they are assigned their next project, but we do move forward with assignments as new projects emerge, a representative for Bandai Namco said. There is no organization like an expulsion room at Bandai Namco Studios designed to pressure people to leave voluntarily, end quote.
Okay.
What a quote. Over the summer, the company further shuttered smartphone game Tales of Rays and said it would take down a big budget online game Blue Protocol in January. It's also decided to either cancel or pause development on several games, including ones that feature characters from anime's Naruto and One Piece, as well as a project commissioned by Nintendo. Jason, do you believe in the existence of Bandai Namco expulsion rooms?
It reminds me, actually, many years ago, like 2013 or 2014, I reported on Ubisoft's Interproject room, which is essentially the same thing, except it wasn't meant to compel people to leave. It was actually meant to place people between projects, like if their project was canceled or they had to move around or something, because Ubisoft in Montreal had to employ X number of people and couldn't go below that threshold for tax reasons at Ubisoft. So like they were getting huge tax credits from the Canadian government as long as they maintained like X number of employees.
Of course.
It was this room where you would go in and you would just go on Facebook or like watch Netflix all day. It's interesting. I do believe that this is a thing. I also think it is way better than just laying people off to actually give them extra time. So, I mean, what this really says to me is that I wish that the U.S. had labor protection laws that forced companies to use expulsion rooms instead of just saying goodbye. And
that'd be a nice change of pace, right? Yeah. It was this, speaks to so much of how you said earlier the grass is always greener, right? And we're talking about, of course, the Japanese labor market compared to the U.S. labor market. In which do you want the expulsion room where you can look for a job or be out on your ear because of whatever stock price just dropped?
Right, and like so, if you get laid off at like Blizzard, for example, you're probably getting 2 to 3 months severance. If you are sent to an expulsion room, you could theoretically stay there for months and then and look for another job and also like just still collect your paycheck and benefits and stuff. So it could be 2 to 3 months. It could be even longer. So it does seem preferable to me. That said, 200 out of 1,300 employees, that's pretty rough, especially considering that Bandai Namco just had one of the biggest hits ever in Elden Ring.
I was going to say, you're one of these Souls boys. You love that Elden Ring.
I do love Elden Ring. And it just came out with the DLC, which sold a bazillion copies earlier this year. I think it was like 5 million copies right away. So, I don't know. I guess I don't have Bandai Namco's financials on hand, but I don't know why they need to cut so many people.
Well, you think maybe they're stretched themselves too thin in terms of what they're putting out? I previewed it at SGF, Unknown 9 Awakening. Have you seen this game? Did you see it at SGF?
No.
It is coming out. If you want to throw up a trailer control room, I'm not sure if Raj or Barrett's on the 1s and 2s. This is coming out October 18th. This is coming out in 3 days, okay, on Unknown 9 Awakening. It stars Yennefer from the Witcher series.
Okay.
It's part of the Unknown 9, metaverse where they have a comic and a podcast and a book series and all this stuff. And it smacks of... ad block for YouTube pops up as well. It smacks of being a AA game,
sure.
You know what I mean? In a place where we used to have so many AA games, but in a world... so busy right now with video games, this game is being sent out to die. Yeah. And it's published by Bandai Namco, which makes me wonder if how many more up their sleeve do they have like this that I'm not even aware of?
Things what is this? I've never heard of this game. That's crazy. I thought I was up to date on... She looks kind of familiar, I guess.
Did you watch the Witcher series? Yeah.
Is she? Oh, it's
she's Yennefer. She is Yennefer. She had purple eyes on that one. Familiar. Yeah, yes. Exactly. And so, you start talking about big budget in terms of okay, well, you're doing the mocap, you're bringing in Hollywood folks to do it, but again, does anyone know about this game coming out this week? Does anyone care about this game coming out this week? Which then I think smacks to what is Bandai Namco doing?
It looks like Forspoken.
Exactly. Which is
look, she's doing the magic stuff just like the Forspoken.
Yep.
Wow.
If memory serves too, I think they talk about the Fade. I think she's getting her powers from the Fade.
Oh, wow.
Which of course is a huge part of Dragon Age Veilguard, which everybody's super stoked about.
Which is 2 weeks after this.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And you just look at it and it's like, never am I one to say throw, baby with the bathwater kind of thing, but it doesn't look great. It doesn't look like this is something that is going to set the world on fire.
It's crazy to imagine. I was just talking about this with someone else. The idea of spending as much time as games take these days, sometimes 5-6 years. It's crazy to imagine spending that kind of time on something and then it just disappears. Or in Concord's case, it just gets shut down after 2 weeks. It's just so sad. But yeah, this is interesting. So they canceled some anime games and a project commissioned by Nintendo. I wonder what that is. Yeah, it's interesting that. But I think you're right that they were maybe spreading themselves a little too thin because it seems like Bandai Namco has a bazillion projects in the works that are always just kind of hit or miss. Or I think that Dragon Ball game that came out last week did pretty well.
Sparking Zero, yeah, I think I saw it go through the thing. It's probably done in Wii News. Yeah, I'm gonna steal from Wii News. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero sales have topped 3 million in 24 hours.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
But this is the problem, right? You have these high success stories of your Elden Rings and your Dragon Ball, but then you have stuff like Unknown 9 coming out that then, really does rock the return on investment here.
Very strange.
Yeah, very strange indeed. We'll have to see what they do and keep forward.
But Greg, if you don't perform well today, you're going to the expulsion room.
Dude, I'd love to kill some time in an expulsion room.
This new studio, I don't know if Kind of Funny best friends know this, but you guys put an expulsion room in your new studio.
It's one of those things. That's where Roger has to learn. All right, Roger knows what he does sometimes, and he has to be put in the expulsion room so he understands it. We call it quiet quitting. Get out of here, Roger.
I wish I had an expulsion room for my kids sometimes. Just stick them
How are
in
you
there.
dealing with discipline? Are we time outing? Are we giving some timeouts? No,
we're not. We're kind of.
Are we still trying to talk? Are we gentle parenting? We're trying to talk through our feelings?
We're gentle parenting, yes, but it's actually still something we have to discuss, my wife and I, because as our 5-year-old gets a little bit brattier, we have to figure out if we're going to take what our approach to discipline is going to be.
Yeah.
Because we've gotten lucky with both of our kids. They've been pretty good for the most part, but our oldest is starting to act out a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Jenna asked, do you want me to use the mommy voice to Ben? Like, if he's not listening, you know what I mean? You want us to get stern? We don't want to get stern with you.
Yeah.
We'll do it if we have to.
Yeah.
We'll see. Number 2 on the Roper Report. This is a big one for me. The Electronic Gaming Monthly Compendium was announced today. We're going to read from the press release. EGM Media LLC proudly announces the Electronic Gaming Monthly Compendium, a new book and companion website that honors the legacy and rich content archive of one of the most influential and longest-running video game magazines ever to exist. Pre-orders of the book's special first edition are available starting today through a first-of-its-kind Kickstarter campaign with exclusive backer rewards honoring EGM's history. Over its 25-year print run, Electronic Gaming Monthly captivated tens of millions of readers around the globe with its opinionated, fearless, and often irreverent coverage of the world of video games. The EGM Compendium will combine meticulously curated excerpts from the magazine with modern insights and never-before-told stories to offer a detailed exploration of both the magazine and the broader gaming landscape. Spanning over 320 pages of rich video game history, the EGM Compendium will chart the development of the most noteworthy games, franchises, cultural shifts, and industry trends from throughout EGM's quarter century of publication. With a long list of contributors that includes EGM alum, current and former game developers, and modern gaming influencers, the EGM Compendium will also highlight the perspectives, memories, and insights of dozens of icons from across the gaming world. The book will feature content, and these are bullet points, exclusive interviews and roundtables. Roundtamers. You got lions in there. We need some roundtamers too. Former EGM editors, game developers, and influencers weigh in on the magazine and games and events that chronicled the pages. In-depth history, you have write-ups of all 264 numbered issues of EGM to tell the story of the gaming industry month by month through a mixture of new and archival material. You can go deeper on the biggest stories, longer features throughout the book, yada, yada, yada. Visually dynamic layout, no stodgy walls of text here, and high-quality print edition, the physical version of
Stodgy walls of text.
This is where the press release starts to get a little, we're just telling you what's in there. It's flowery. I can't believe it, and I'm sure it just got edited out in our thing here by Bless. The most important thing for me is that it's going to also launch a website that is the PDF archive of every EGM ever.
Oh, that's
and it's going to be searchable. Yeah, you see it here. You searchable. So I have a press access. I got to go in there. Immediately went to the Superman stuff. Started looking at Superman 64. Went to the WrestleMania review. No Mercy and stuff. Right.
That is 100% the coolest part of this.
I think the compendium is awesome. This is such a nice thing, and this is if you back it or whatever, you can get in there and go through every issue, which I assure you I will. Because Jason,
that is useful for video game history.
Yeah. EGM is the reason I'm here. You understand? I don't know.
Because you grew up reading EGM.
Yeah. When I was a kid, the story goes that I had an issue of Game Pro. On the cover, Death and Return of Superman. On the inside, Maximum Carnage. Read it cover to cover every night for a month. Had a note card with every toy store and video game shop in town. And Death and Return of Superman said it would come out in the summer. So starting in May, I called every store every night asking if they had it, and they never did. But after a month of reading the magazine cover to cover, I walked in the kitchen and said, "Mom, I know what I want to do with my life. I want to write about video games." And they were nice enough to say, "Okay, well, that's journalism, so that's what we'll start." Blah blah. And it was EGM was the magazine I fell in love with that had an identity, where it was the review crew, and it was Crispin, and it was Shu, of course, my idol, Dan Shu.
So without EGM, there wouldn't be
any of this. There would be none of this right here.
Shu, former Blizzard employee.
I know. Yeah. Well, Shu got around, right? After EGM, he got all over the place. So yeah, when this came through, you see so many Kickstarters for here's the best NES books or the compendium of SNES stuff and even the with Game Informer's passing, which was super sad, it was that thing of I was sad about it, but it wasn't my magazine. So the fact that my magazine is being honored this way, I'm so stoked about it. I backed it right away this morning. Do you care about EGM?
I care about media people having jobs and getting money. So in that sense, I'm happy that this thing exists. But no, I didn't I read a couple of magazines growing up here and there, but I was never emotionally attached to any of these gaming zines or anything like that.
So for you then, number one games journalist Jason Schreier, best-selling author, author of Play Nice, available right now. Everybody go pick it up.
Available wherever books are sold.
How did you get on this path?
Well, so I knew I wanted to be a writer growing up, and then got really into journalism in like high school and college. And the high school paper, I was editor of my high school paper, and wrote a bunch of stuff in college. And at NYU, I got to interview Natalie Portman. That was a career. Oh wow! Highlight. And
was this about episode 1? What were you interviewing about?
No, she was like doing some fundraising thing, and she just was doing interviews with the school paper. And so Natalie Portman was like my crush growing up. Nice. So can I tell you that as a journalist, if you ever want to like get over being starstruck, first thing you do is in college you interview Natalie Portman, and that will just kind of like make all
it's all downhill from here.
Exactly, because it's like what I mean, I can interview all these like famous game developers, and I'll just be like, I interviewed Natalie Portman. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Now. Although I got a little bit nervous last week actually, because I got to meet Matt Stone, co-creator of South Park, and was chatting with him. I got mildly nervous, but still not even.
Where'd you run into him?
He was at this Bloomberg conference that we did, and so I was chatting him, wanted to give him a copy of the book.
My story with that, to piggyback off of, when they did the first South Park game, the first good one from Ubisoft.
Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth, thank you. I had butthole on my head. When I got to go do their Comic-Con panel, where it was just me and them, and they helicoptered in. They were super late. They came up. We were on not Hall H, but the next biggest thing. They sat on opposite ends of the table from each other, and I was there. And I remember, I was just doing my thing, just hosting, and I wasn't nervous. I do it all the time. And at one point, I forget if it was Trey or Matt. It might have been Matt, I think, who was like lamenting how hard the game making was. And I went over and I cradled his head against my bosom. And afterwards, when I came off stage, they immediately went on the helicopter and flew away. And everyone was like, we can't believe you did that. Like no one touches them. And I was like, yeah,
that's extremely
That's the
funny.
Greg Miller effect.
Matt was quite nice. He's actually good friends with like my old boss, Nick Denton. So we talked about that a little bit, but no. So for me, I think that at this point in my life, I do not get nervous when I'm doing things professionally, like interviewing people. Yeah. But when I am going up to someone and just chatting with them, kind of like informally, but they also had this huge influence on my life. Yeah. Then I get a little bit nervous. That's fair. I understand. But yes, I mean, to answer your question. So yeah, sorry, I just finished that. It's just like I was just always into journalism, and then kind of accidentally stumbled into writing about video games.
How do you stumble into that?
Well,
you love games the entire way.
I'll tell you, I love games. Yeah, I grew up playing games. Was always playing video games. NES, I was playing at like 2 years old, and like trying to beat Final Fantasy when I was 5, which could not get past the Marsh Cave. This is not good support. We need the hardcover up in here.
I thought maybe you'd bring some copies, but you were like,
I have one in my backpack, but too late now.
We'll get it out here for the real one.
So I after college, I went to I moved back to my parents' place for a few months while I was like trying to figure out what to do, and I wound up freelancing for a bunch of just kind of random local news places. And I was in this room and covering this zoning board meeting, and there were these guys
I know this so well
who are just arguing over whether a fence is allowed to be 25 feet or 20 feet or something like that. And I was just like, I am going to like blow my brains out if I have to keep doing this. So I will go and find something more interesting to cover. And I was like, maybe I should just try writing about video games. And then through happenstance and good fortune and like all these kind of crazy twists and turns, I wound up just sticking with it. Like I never thought I would actually be doing this for as long as I have. It was a total accident.
Yeah. So this is an interesting, first off, I feel that story so much, because for me it was always the Columbia Housing Authority. When it was them arguing about like, what are they, these redesigns, and I'd be there and it's 7:30 on a Tuesday. I'm like, what is going on?
You know, the J School experience.
You gotta get out there, you gotta pound the pavement. Yeah. You say, you never imagined you'd be doing it this long. We had a conversation here recently, I forget with whatever the last round of gaming press layoffs were. Yeah. And it was that conversation of games journalism, whatever, enthusiast press, whatever you want to call it. is there a future in it? Is it blah, blah, blah? It's changing, of course, but you still are like the stalwart, the gold standard. You're the deal, right? Like, do you worry about your future? Like, specifically you, and like, because Bloomberg seems like it's been a great fit and everything's been fantastic.
Bloomberg's great. Yeah, I would love to stick around here. I'm not like super worried about my future. I just don't know how. Like, well, I don't know. I don't know what the future. People keep asking me, like, what am I going to do next after this book? And a large part of me wants to do fiction next.
Oh, nice.
Because that's something I've always been interested in doing. So maybe my career will pivot to just being a full-time novelist.
You're like, I'm done. I'm going out on top.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the dream, right? To just, like, sit in a cabin. And,
I was going to say, have this nice cardigan on and be writing.
Oh, my God, that would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, I think about this all the time. For me, I can see my career path going more into just kind of sticking with journalism, even if I switch beats or something like that, or sticking with mainstream publications. I'm a lot more worried about peers who don't. I mean, I'll be fine because I have been very fortunate to build kind of a brand or whatever. Like, people know who I am.
You're a name, yeah.
So I think that'll always help, whereas I'm a lot more worried about people who are just coming up. When I was at Stanford University last night for a talk, and this woman came up to me afterwards. She was a freshman or sophomore or something like that, and she was into journalism, and she was like, how can I get into video game journalism? And it really, I did not want to be super bleak and say to her, like, don't even try.
Yeah.
But like, how can you possibly give good advice now? There's nowhere to even start. So it's tough, man. I feel for other people. I'm not worried about myself. I feel for like people who are just trying to get in.
So what did you tell that girl?
I told her, I mean, I just gave her some more kind of broader writing advice and journalism advice. The advice I give everybody, free piece of advice for you, Greg, as you're growing up, as you're trying to build a career.
I've been trying to get out of here for a while.
Yeah, right?
I keep going to the expulsion room, but I sneak out.
And the expulsion room isn't working on you. I always tell people there's like this kind of truism, like do what you love or whatever, or follow what you love, which I don't think is great advice. I think the best advice is do what you are good at. And if you are good at something and you identify what you're good at, and it has to have like something specific and specialized and uncancelizable. If you're good at something and you know you're good at it, then first of all, you will wind up loving it, because if you're good at it, you'll just take a certain satisfaction in doing it and pride in doing it. And second of all, you will find a lot more success than just picking what you love and doing it. The hard part about this advice is that it requires kind of being honest with yourself and recognizing what you're good at and being truthful about that. But if you can do that, if you can kind of pinpoint that one thing that you're really, really good at, then maybe nobody else is as good as you, or you're like really one of the best at it, then I think you can find success.
That's what I've always. My advice has changed too over the years, right? Because in the old days, it was like just start doing it. You'll never be good at it. Yeah. I should have been writing from the fourth grade on. I should have been writing reviews instead of when EGM did an open call. I was like, I'll write my first reviews and submit them, and clearly I'll get the job. But beyond that, it is the idea that I tell people all the time now of like, there already is an IGN, there already is a GameSpot, there already is the catch-alls. You need to try to be the JRPG person. If that's you're the wrestling game person, you're the Madden person, you're an expert in a field. So when people go, oh, I need this, I do that. I want to get that person involved. Yeah.
Agreed.
So you worry about the peers, you worry about it, but like, it's okay, right? I mean, it will be okay, right?
I hope so. I mean, sometimes I feel like we've gone through these cycles of corrections, and like both the video game industry and the journalism industry have gone through these kind of ups and downs over the years. There were certainly periods, even when I started at Kotaku in 2012, we were all like, are YouTubers going to destroy print media? And that hasn't happened yet. So there's still some space. It's funny. We were all worried about YouTubers. We should have been worried about Google destroying the web media. I said print media. What I mean is web media, text media. I mean, it feels to me like if there's one kind of takeaway from this, and I think we're going to start to see it, it's that like these companies just need to train readers and convince readers to pay for their work and subscribe to their work. And that's something that I'm happy to see, kind of funny, and a bunch of people at Substacks, like my former boss, Stephen Totillo, and a lot of other kind of subscription models. Like that's the future. The only way to support media, the only way for media to be a viable business is to have readers pay for it, because like we've convinced the internet has convinced us all over the last 30 years that news should be free, and news is not free. It requires labor. It requires payment. So if we get back to a position where we've convinced people like, okay, if you want really good gaming news, if you want to support this journalist that you like, you have to pay for them, then I think we'll start getting into a better place. And so,
yeah, that's been the silver lining I've seen to it is the fact that when you see these layoffs, you see something like Aftermath pop up, right? You see there's a kind of funny contingent to IGN and so on and so forth. You jump through all these hoops. And it is that idea that there's these smaller groups with a, lower ceiling in terms of what the cost is, which then can be supported by a community like our community, right? Where it is, you come out, you pay for the thing. That doesn't, and then there is the free version for everybody else, but as long as you have people who are going, I love this enough to pay for it. And whether it be Kind of Funny, whether it be any of the other numbers of sites, that's the way this works.
Yeah, and there are like a million different models you could have. You could have free for X number of articles, and then you pay for the rest. You could have a free version and a paid version. There are a lot of things you can do. But I think breaking away from the advertisement-reliant model is the key to long-term success. Because otherwise, I mean, you had over the last few years, a lot of the gaming sites pursued guides because that's what was popping up on Google.
Oh, we need the wikis. We need the guides.
And then the problem with that is like you kind of know that your time is limited because you are relying on an external business, Google. And as soon as Google changes their algorithms and puts that little AI box that steals all your stuff, you are screwed. Yeah. So I think that like these businesses, like a business cannot succeed on that, like when it's that dependent on another business. So I mean, it's you need that sort of subscription model in order for any of these businesses to be viable. Yeah. IGN, I'm sure, will be around for 20 more, 50 more years, however many more years, at its current model. But like anything smaller than the biggest of the big, I think will need to pursue other forms of it. And even IGN, I mean, you have a lot of these sites that have gone way beyond traditional advertising and into sponsored content and other stuff like that. So, including you guys. So it's kind of, you need more than just the banner ads, because that clearly doesn't make money anymore.
That's right. Yeah, you need a dedicated audience who will pay for the content. Because
journalism ism talk. Yes, exactly.
Of course, though, ads do help. Hey, everybody. Guess what? You can support us with a Kind of Funny membership if you love what we do as an 11-person small business trying to rock the video game world over at patreon.com/kindoffunny or youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. You get all of our shows ad-free, the ability to watch the afternoon podcast live as we record them, and of course, your daily dose of me in an exclusive vlog/podcast called Gregway. But right now, you're not using your membership, so here's a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by New World Eternum. New World Eternum is a thrilling action RPG experience for console and PC players with a vibrant world, vast and beautiful setting, dynamic real-time action combat, and the freedom for players to choose how to forge their destiny. Combat is skill-based and dynamic, incorporating swords, guns, and sorcery so that you can build one character to rule them all as you explore Eternum and unravel the mysteries of the supernatural island that you can't leave. You love playing RPGs alone? You can in New World Eternum, or play cooperatively with your friends as you complete quests, get better gear, and level up. Greg played this at Summer Game Fest on PlayStation 5 and was caught off guard by how much he enjoyed it and how many hours he said he could see himself sinking into the final product. There's boss fights, cool enemies, crossplay, resource gathering, and crafting. So yeah, this sounds like a Greg game. New World Eternum is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
Number 3 on the Roper Report, Super Mario Party Jamboree reviews are up. So we got your roundup. The Metacritic right now is an 81. The Open Critic is an 83. Logan Plant over at IGN gave it a 9 out of 10 and says, Super Mario Party Jamboree is an amazing follow-up to Mario Party Superstars and easily one of the best games in the series. Not only does it faithfully return to the classic formula established in the N64 entries, it confidently improves upon it with a fantastic set of boards that introduce unique and memorable mechanics. It's also the most flexible Mario Party has ever been, with tons of ways to customize. Did Nick just come out and dap you up in the middle of a Oh
sure
my
did.
God. With tons of ways to customize your game. Let's just go. It's also the most flexible Mario Party has ever been, with tons of ways to customize your game, including its brilliant new optional pro rules that reduce luck-based elements to a minimum and crank up the strategy for those who want it. The wonderful maps are supported by a great lineup of new and returning minigames and character-specific challenges that steal the show, even if I wish there were just a few more minigames in the rotation. The side offerings may not have much staying power, but when partying with friends and family locally or online, Super Mario Party Jamboree boldly completes the series' redemption arc as its newest superstar. That all sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
But then I look over at GameSpot.com, where Dirty Dan Reichert gave it a 6 out of 10 and says, many new elements are attempted in Super Mario Party Jamboree, and unfortunately, I feel like a lot of them are unwelcome. The new modes are largely duds. The tantalizing promise of 20-player online falls a bit flat, and several of the new minigames are a slog. That said, the new maps are the best original ones in many years, and Jamboree promises to still be a blast when you've got some friends over. I've reviewed many Mario Party games over the years, and it's always a weird series to assign a number to. During the review period, you get to play the occasional online session with Nintendo reps and fellow games media members, but a lot of time is spent exploring the maps and mini-games solo. In this form, the faults of the game are laid bare, and you see it with clear eyes. But once you grab a few close friends and you're laughing over a few beers, the deeply flawed game turns into a raucous night of camaraderie and laughter. Jamboree is no more or less nonsense than any Mario Party, and it's one I'll still be playing a ton despite its flaws.
Can I just say, you asked me before about if I was working today.
Yeah.
I just got a text with some news. A news
Do you need to walk off?
No.
Somebody earlier was like, you're like an ESPN, you're like the ESPN reporter who's like, wait, I got breaking news out of the Broncos camp. You know what I mean? Like anything you need to do, I love it. You do it.
Well, but yeah, I don't. This is like, I would have to confirm it before I could report it.
Well, no, I don't mean break the news here.
No, I know, but I would. But with ESPN reporters, I mean, one of the reasons I don't really like the comparison to like Schefter or Woj or whatever, R.I.B. Woj is Woj bombs. He retired and didn't actually die.
Clarifying.
One of the reasons I don't like those comparisons is because their job is just to tweet and say what agents are texting them.
Yeah.
When I get texts, I have to kind of verify things and reach out to the companies involved because it's usually not news that the companies want out there and so on and so forth. So it's a very different kind of work.
Devil's advocate. A lot of people in our space don't do that. They just put up the headline and say developing. they heard it's a rumor, just the heads. Other people are doing that.
I don't think that's true. I think that's based on, they do, a lot of websites do that. First of all, I wouldn't even say people in our space because a lot of those are just kind of churn websites that aren't like people we actually know.
I know. It was a joke, Jason. It was a joke.
No, but that's a good point because I think a lot of that is just based on what they see online as opposed to them having conversations with people, which is a different sort of thing.
It's called real journalism, right?
Sure. I mean, journalism is journalism. It is what it is. I think there's different qualities of journalism, I would say, rather than real or fake. You're fake news, Greg Miller.
I know. Well, I'm well aware of that.
News.
Unless it comes down to PC gaming, isn't that right? Isn't that right? I digress. Please welcome to the stage the
Mr.
one,
World
the
of Warcraft.
Hey, it's a fun game. Blessing, Adeoye Jr. Yay!
Hey, it's me. What's up? How's it going?
I don't want to listen to Dan Reichert. You understand he broke my ribs once. I don't want to deal with him again. Bless, you've been playing Mario Party.
Yes.
Where do you come down?
So it's fun reading these reviews because I understand both where the IGN review is coming from and where Dan Reichert's coming from, especially where Dan Reichert mentions that this is a weird series, but a number 2.
Yeah.
So far in my Mario Party Jamboree journey, it's funny. I started playing this game with the thought of like, oh, of course we're gonna do a review, and so let me make sure I play every. Thanks, Barry, for adjusting because I'm staying up doing the splits.
You can, just stand up and
you do some
naturally.
squats?
They could always just
but
go to the shot.
I got
Why?
soccer
Look at
later.
They do that shot and they're all set.
I like soccer. I have soccer later today,
at the
so I'm
guns,
trying to
everybody. Can I squeeze them?
Oh yeah, squeeze them. Yeah, go for it.
Jason, squeeze his arms. Feel these biceps.
I'm not going to do
Not
that.
right.
I did not
I mean,
sign
you have
up
a
for
permission.
that one.
that could be a nice headline on Bloomberg. You know what I mean? Whatever.
But I started playing this game with the thought of, oh yeah, we're gonna do a review or whatever. And then one of the days I came into work and I was like, hey, are we doing a Mario Party review? And you're like, no, I don't think we're gonna do like an actual review episode. And so I stopped playing because I didn't stop playing, but like I stopped playing like I was
As a
reviewing.
review. Yeah.
And so like I've only played 2 of the maps in a little bit of the single player mode. I allegedly might have thrown a party, a Mario Party where I invited 3 of my friends to come through and play this game with me.
You NDA'd them all. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I made them sign a thing allegedly. And so
You shouldn't say that in public. Can we cut that out? So Nintendo doesn't
as
see
long as
it?
I say allegedly, it's fine, right?
Allegedly, yeah.
And so playing this game allegedly with friends, right, which is the way that you'd want to play a Mario Party game. This game, for me, so far in playing, I'll say it's probably my favorite Mario Party. To Dan's point, I think there's a lot of bloat and a lot of fat in there that doesn't need to be there. Playing through the single player stuff, it's like it's called the Mario Party Trek planning or whatever, right? Where you're basically just walking through these Mario Party boards and playing these mini games one at a time. And like you have side quests where you'll run into a Goomba and the Goomba's like, oh, I lost my fishing pole, and you'll find the fishing pole on the map and then bring it back, and he's like, oh, thanks. And like that's the whole mode is you doing these random mini games. It's a whatever mode that harkens back to Mario Party 1 because they had a similar thing in Mario Party 1. So it's cool for that, but overall it's like this isn't getting the job done. Nobody's coming to this game to play this mode. People are coming to Mario Party so they can play with their friends. And to that respect, I really like what Mario Party Jamboree has to offer so far in terms of the boards. I played through the Coconut Mall board, and I also played the Wiggler board. Now, what I've noticed so far with both these boards and with the mini games is that everything feels a little bit bigger in Jamboree. The Coconut Mall board is like three floors, which I love because it is more of a vertical design in how the map is. And so like you're taking elevators up, you're taking escalators up, the star will go and it's like, oh man, this person's on the 3rd floor. So they already have like, you know, the advantage, and I need to get up there. So I need to take the elevator or whatever. Really smart board design. Same with the Wiggler thing where you have to make Wiggler angry, and like on Wiggler are like these tiles that sometimes might be an event space or whatever. And so you'll want to use that to transport. Good gimmicks for the boards. The mode where you play with like only 10 turns doesn't feel adequate enough. It's like for this Mario Party, you might want to make more time. You might want to up it to like maybe a 15 to 20 turn game to actually get the most out of some of these boards here, because it feels a bit bigger. Same with the mini games, where the mini games feel like they take a little bit more time. One of the mini games that I liked a lot is like a rhythm game where you'll have a character like, you know, hitting a drum or whatever, and then like each of the players have to like hit to the same rhythm. Me and my friends were shocked by how long that shit went for. We were sitting there like doing the game, and we're like, huh, this is the game now. This is going. Like, this is not a mini game. This is just a game. Like,
you
there's
and your
nothing mini
alleged
about this.
Friends.
Me and my alleged friends. Thank you. Yeah,
They're all kind of funny friends. It's all. We all signed the NDA.
We all signed the NDA. But yeah, it was like, oh, this keeps going. And same with some of the other mini games, where it feels like they're putting a bit more TLC into making these games like develop over time and having there be like, it feels like there's actual arcs in these mini games as opposed to it being like a jump in, jump out sort of thing. There are still those mini games, right? You still have your traditional Mario Party mini games, but it feels like, yeah, they're trying to push for something longer. A couple of things that they've added this time around, features that they've added that I like, are they have these allies now on the board where, say you're playing a regular game, you have Mario, Peach, Daisy, and Luigi as the players, right? Sometimes Donkey Kong will show up on the board, and if you
this is such a nonsense like statement. Everything that's happening right now.
If you land on the Donkey Kong space, you might end up with the option to recruit Donkey Kong as an ally.
Sure.
So what that means is that for an amount of turns, DK is just hanging out with you.
I love it.
And
does he get his own die? Are we adding the die in?
That's a good question. I don't know if
these are the real questions I bring to Mario Kart journalism.
I wish I wrote that. I wish I took notes for this, because you might, but I forget exactly if you do get the extra
15
die.
LaCroix in at this point.
What you do? Oh, dude, we were drinking.
Allegedly,
we were drinking. Or I was. But no, what you do get is you can buy multiple things, and so if you have DK with you, if you hit a star space, you can buy 2 stars if you have have coins for it. Or if you go to a store, you can buy 2 items. Right? So like you're basically doubling the things that you're able to do on that turn, which is nice. You have to like fight for the ally. So like if you're the person that landed on the DK space, you have like an advantage in the minigame, but you have to do a minigame against the other players, and whoever wins the minigame actually gets that ally. And other people can steal that ally by passing you on the board. And so it becomes a bit more strategic in that way, which I like. I like that added element of chaos. The other thing that I really like is that there is a new pro mode.
I want you to know, I never thought you'd go this deep with this one. I was like, do you want to come out and tell your thoughts? Like, yeah, I thought it was gonna be, it's good.
You know, I was a big Mario Party fan.
He was preparing for a review.
I love it. Yeah. I can't wait. You better have a score at the end of all this.
I mean, I'm not playing.
Review in progress. Review in progress.
I'll give you
score.
my in progress score. I'll give you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Back to the promo they were talking about. Which is like the answer to Gary Whitta, who's always so mad at all the bullshit. So that's exactly what the game is.
The pro mode is my favorite addition to this game. It is a more hardcore way to play Mario Party, which sounds fucking ridiculous because literally it's Mario Party. The whole point is the chaos.
Yeah.
But I like it because the ways in which they try to like refine it into something that becomes way more strategic. It's fun. So now you have 1 bonus star in a game, and they tell you what the bonus star is before you actually start the game.
Oh, that's nice. So if it's going to be like
So like
I was gonna ask about that because the bonus stars are the worst thing about Mario Party.
yeah,
Here we go. He's
so
a promo.
you can essentially eliminate like the randomness of the
That's
bonus
good.
star,
Okay,
and it'll
I
tell
like
you,
that. I
hey,
like that.
whoever lands on the most event spaces this
Uh-huh.
game gets the bonus star, and that's just
Okay.
the one bonus star.
So it'll tell you in advance.
They'll tell you
Yeah,
that.
because the worst part about the last one is that they're random at the end of the game, and it can be anything.
I mean that, but see, for me, that's part of what makes Mario Party Mario Party.
Uh-huh.
But I do like that they're giving people the option, and so
Okay.
there's that. There's also limited items at shops in the pro mode, and so like each shop might have 2 of each item. Once they sell out, they're just gone.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, players get to vote on mini games when they land on the spaces,
Okay.
and
Oh,
so
that's
and then it's
cool.
randomized between the player votes.
Okay.
Yeah, there.
I like this.
You're
Oh,
battling a
this
little
is-
bit more.
You're getting
This is the
Jason.
best thing I've
Jason's
heard.
coming in.
Well, when I play Mario Party with my buddies, we've been like
Allegedly.
we've been gravitating towards the N64 ones because the new ones are just too out there. Especially, I mean, Mario Party Superstars is better than the previous ones when it was like everyone
Yeah.
on a train or something and like other stupid iterations they've done. But this pro mode, that sounds
Dude,
interesting.
and like so the first game we played on the Coconut Mall stage, and then we switched to pro mode because it unlocked after the first game, and we were like, whoa, whoa, what's this? Played it, and we were all pretty pleasantly surprised with it. We were like, oh snap, you have to like really think. You know, we're all gunning for the event spaces because we know that's gonna get you the bonus star. And yeah, like I've been having a pretty good time with it so far. I can't wait for it to be out for everybody.
Sure.
Just so I can like get more games in. I'm sure we're gonna play it here, kind of funny, which is gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's embargoed, but I'll just tell you. Next week, we're playing Mario Party every goddamn day. We're doing a whole tournament. Mike's got a whole thing set up. It's going to be crazy.
Nice.
Yeah. So my in
Not
progress
sure if
score.
it's embargoed. Playing with your friends, man. Nintendo is gonna be.
Well, this
calling.
is embargoed for Mike. I don't know what Mike's plan
Oh,
was for it.
okay,
I don't
gotcha.
know.
Okay.
I doubt Nintendo cares.
Yeah. Again.
Wait a minute. Hold on, guys.
Oh, yeah. Miyamoto's.
Breaking news.
Oh no.
Nintendo is no longer sending you review codes.
Oh, my God.
Again, me playing with my friends, a legend. You know,
Kind of funny
nobody
friends.
can
Yeah,
confirm.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, had a blast.
So your review in progress score.
8 out of 10 is my in progress
great.
score.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
it's a very great time.
Okay.
But there's a lot of blow that like most people are gonna see and be like, I'm not fucking with this. Like
Sure.
you're just gonna go straight to the party. And the party, it's a good party. It's a good time.
Okay. Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you did the V stance the entire time.
I got to stay limber. I got soccer later.
But like, you have soccer in like, what time is the game tonight? You gotta-
It's like 9:15 p.m.
that's 11 hours from
I gotta
now.
start stretching
Gotta
early.
stretch early. Yeah, nice.
You gonna play this one then?
Am I gonna play soccer?
Mario Party. No.
Oh,
You and I both know neither of us are playing soccer.
Hey, I'm playing basketball on Sunday. I
Are
play
you?
Basketball every week.
Okay.
I am probably at some point, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Fair enough. Neither confirm nor
I don't know.
deny.
I don't. I have so many other things I have to play that
That's true.
It's like
It's
the thought of Mario
stacking
Party
up.
is not even like.
Number 4 on the Roper Report, PlayStation The Concert to tour over 200 cities in 2025 and 2026. This is Jordan Midler at VGC. The PlayStation The Concert, a live stage show featuring music from across PlayStation's 30-year history, has been announced. The show will feature performances of music originally composed by Gustavo Santaolalla. How do you say this one? I always screw this up. I want to
Lila.
The Last of Us, Horizon, Ghost of Tsushima, and God of War. Quote, with state-of-the-art production, and the show merges thrilling music, cutting-edge visual technology, and legendary video game titles into an unforgettable experience, reads a press release for the event. The tour will kick off in Dublin in April 2025 before moving to the UK for 6 dates. It will then tour the world for the remainder of 2025 and 2026. What do we got here? So, yeah, we already did the top level. It's April, you're in Birmingham, you're in Manchester, Leeds, Newcastle, Glasgow, and then London. Tickets for the tour will go on sale October 16th at 7 a.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. BST. U.S. dates not announced yet. You cared all about this? Do you ever go see video game music in concert?
No,
Yeah, me neither.
no.
We're real people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're not Tim over here.
I think maybe once I went to something, but it was for work.
I went to a video
purposes.
games live once for work. Yeah,
Uh-huh,
yeah.
yeah.
Tommy Tellerico was out there.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I'm happy people are into it, but
Yeah, of course.
not my. I mean, we both have small children, so it's difficult for us to like.
I wish
get
that was
out
the
at
excuse,
night
even though
also,
even if I was,
yeah,
if
yeah.
me and Jen were just out there freewheeling, drinking
Yeah.
cocktails every night again, we wouldn't be going
Yeah,
to this. I'd be
yeah,
fine
yeah.
with it. This is not how I connect with the video games.
No, I went to a Zelda thing once, but like Zelda, Final Fantasy, those are probably the only two I would consider doing something.
You might hear some
for.
Astrobot music.
Unless
at
it
this
was for
one, though.
work. Yeah, Astrobot music. Yeah, the PlayStation games, they all have cool music, but I would not go to concerts for that.
Fair enough.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's big news that you don't like video game music. We understand.
Yeah, headline.
Yeah,
news.
You should work on that for Bloomberg as well. IGN.com. But frankly, Jason, I'm sick of all this big news. If I wanted smaller news, say the tiniest news you needed to know about, where would I go?
Did you write me a line here? Am I
did,
supposed to read
yeah,
this
that's why it's
line?
highlighted.
You'd go to our last story, the We News channel. Oh, We News.
It's clever.
Ugh.
We spell it WEE, you know?
Wait, hold on.
got-
Yeah, Nintendo's never talking to you again.
That's no big deal. The fact they only sent us one review code is insulting for
We
everything.
News channel where we cover all the small news items that you need to know about.
I thought you'd be off book.
How's
by
that
now.
line read?
I mean, I'd love to take it from the top, but they're live, so it's too
You'd
late.
go to our last story, the We News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Get this guy on GameStop TV. He's got it. He's ready to go. We News today, we already covered Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, topping 3 million sales in 24 hours. From GameSpot.com, Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack celebrates its 3rd birthday with a teaser for new stuff. In a
What?
Nintendo newsletter, the company asks, what excitement will the next year bring for Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack members? Stay tuned to find out.
When you said small news, you were
We ain't kidding. We ain't kidding. We'll give you the smallest things we can give you here, all right? Just something to keep you alive another day.
I was just talking about this with someone else. So they teased. They opened up signups for this thing.
Yeah, their
but they
mystery
haven't
project
actually
thing, yeah.
announced what it is yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't wait for that to leak.
Okay.
From Gamatsu, the Taiwan Digital Game Rating Committee has rated an unannounced Death Note game for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. It's published by Bandai Namco.
Oh my God.
Come on, Bandai! Searching Taiwan.
Instead of Death Note, they should make a game called Exclusion Room Note,
Dude,
where
there's something there. Some indie dev should make Exclusion Room right now. It's up there. It confirms the English name of the game as Death Note Killer Within. We have a Game Pass update for you on October 16th. South Park, The Fractured Butthole is arriving. On the 17th, Donut County and Mech Warrior 5 Clans. On the 25th, you get Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, and Warzone. On the 29th.
So that's interesting. So the first time Call of Duty will be day one on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Which I wonder how that affects the sales of that game. That'll be interesting to see. I'm very curious about that.
I mean,
This is something Bloomberg is interested in.
oh,
It's
of course, yeah,
this
we all
business
are.
model changing.
No, for sure. I would think so many of those people are on PlayStation or PC at this
Right,
point.
that's
right?
why it'll be really interesting to see.
Can they jump the subs?
Yeah, like if Call of Duty usually sells 10 to 15 million copies, is this going to have a significant impact on that? I'm just very curious.
Me too. On the 29th, Ashen comes to Game Pass. On the 31st, Dead Island 2 comes to PC Game Pass. Then on November 5th, StarCraft Remastered PC, StarCraft 2 Campaign Collection on PC. Both Blizzard games that I learned a little bit about.
StarCraft 2 is one of my favorite games ever made. So the campaign collection, that for free, or that as part of Game Pass, that's pretty cool. The game's already free to play, and I think you can get like the first campaign for free, but getting the entire thing, that's pretty good.
Remember, if you want to learn more about Blizzard, hang out for the GamesCast we're about to do with Jason and his book Play Nice.
Heck yeah.
This one is just probably the funniest story for me today.
Okay.
Today, BioWare shared a new blog highlighting Dragon Age, the Veilguard's PC and console specs, and the official preload times for each platform. They are as follows. Xbox gets it, you can preload on October 14th at 9 a.m. Pacific. PlayStation 5, you can preload October 29th at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Wait, October 14th was yesterday. Do they mean 24th?
I don't know.
Maybe.
That's
Okay.
what they put out, and that's on them, not me. And then PC, there's no preload.
Wait, why is it on Xbox so far in advance? Is it because there's like a marketing deal with Xbox or something like that?
I don't know. It's just more that, Xbox got their shit together.
And
I
you
guess,
think it's
probably.
funny because PC gamers get screwed again.
There's no preload for PC
Can I just
gamers.
tell you, Greg,
the,
let me
game's
ask you something.
the game will be downloadable and playable on launch day, October 31st at 9 a.m., you fucking idiots.
So I'm on this, I've been on this book tour for the last week or so.
Yeah.
I've been traveling.
Yeah.
And I have a copy of Metaphor ReFantazio, which is one of my favorite games.
I'm
of the
playing it
year.
right now, too. I'm
Love
enjoying
it
it quite
to
a bit.
death. And I can play it on a Steam Deck.
That's why I'm playing it.
You say you're playing it on a PC.
No, Steam Deck's like a Vita.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's completely different.
A Vita that runs Windows. Okay.
Completely different.
Okay.
Completely different.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That- as long as there's a DNA console hookup to it.
Uh-huh.
Now, did I move my PC to my TV to play it in the highest frame rate and all that jazz? I did do that. But again, that's because of the Steam Deck. You know what I mean? And the Steam Deck is my way of honoring the Vita and what the Vita should have been. Because again, if we're sitting here really talking about the Vita's legacy, it crawled so that the Switch could walk, and now the Steam Deck could run.
Okay.
And so if I don't buy
Got
Steam Deck games and play them that way, I'm really not honoring the Vita's legacy.
And just remind me, a Steam Deck, when you buy the games on Steam Deck, what platform are you buying them
You're
through?
using Steam, and let me tell you, it's a very impressive platform. You know what I mean? It's a very impressive platform. I'm very impressed by it.
Okay.
I like it quite a bit. I'm wish listing a lot of things.
Gotcha.
Buying a lot of games that I can't play on the Steam Deck, but I play on the PC that I hooked up to the TV.
Gotcha.
But it's like,
That's
again,
interesting. It's interesting. that
I'm
you're
beta
playing.
testing for the Steam
Right.
Deck.
Well,
So-
your argument can also be that since it's hooked up to a TV, it doesn't count as a PC.
Oh, 100%.
Okay,
No,
good.
yeah,
Okay.
big picture mode, you know what I
Alright,
mean? I still have to use I have to use a mouse and keyboard down there. I'm on the ground at my coffee table doing this.
And did you build your PC
Oh
yourself?
fuck no! Oh my god, you kidding me, Jason? Please,
Why?
I'm not a
It's so much
loser.
fun.
No, it's not. I just saw Blessing for an entire week.
Yeah.
Have this thing. It looked like I watched Unsolved Mysteries last night about cattle mutilations. That's what it looked at there with this PC.
Okay.
The rift, the top's off. There's a GTX card out of it. He's calling people. He's on hold for 45 minutes asking about a warranty. You know what I mean?
But let me tell you,
There it
man,
is. There's Raj working on it. This is how it started.
That's good stuff, but there is nothing. It's funny. There is nothing more impressive, or there's nothing more satisfying. Few things more satisfying than when you build a PC yourself and then you press a button and you get that little chime.
it works.
Saying it's on, and you start seeing stuff on your monitor. It's the coolest feeling.
Then it tells you your DirectX needs to be updated. Go to these GeForce
Sure,
things, drivers.
sure.
Just do it
But
yourself.
it's all a Vita successor, so it's okay.
Exactly.
And then you and then you can you it's like building a Lego, except afterwards you get to do cool stuff with it instead of just like letting it sit on your shelf.
Sure, but then it's outdated like in 3 months. Something else is coming out, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, your kids, they're
I mean,
gonna-
as opposed to the PS5, which is getting a new PS5 Pro. because
years.
it's
It took
outdated.
years to get a PlayStation 5
Yeah,
Pro, and you don't even need it.
My graphics card usually lasts like 6 to 8 years before I need a new one.
Okay.
And you don't really need a new one. It's just kind of nice to have.
Sure, you gotta
As
have that
opposed
hair
to
physics.
a console where you have to buy a new
Sure.
one every like.
Well, yeah, you're playing all these PC
You
visual
need hair
novels.
physics.
You need
Yeah,
this.
well,
Yeah,
that's-
of course.
that's true.
Yeah,
That's
you know
true,
what I
yeah.
mean? What's going on over there? And then, of course, Tetris Forever launches November 12th on Xbox One, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC.
Cool.
That's the end of Wii News. Thank you. I always love the abrupt ones. Of course, we ask everybody watching live to super chat to be part of the show as we go. And I was having such good conversations with Jason. I was just vibing doing that. So let's see what actually popped up in here, okay? We'll start with Elliot Duke, who super chats and says, when is Jason's book, Play Nice, coming out in the UK? I tried to get the hardcover on Amazon and it said latest December. I loved Press Reset, by the way. Keep up the good work.
That is a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I had thought it was October 24th, but apparently people's like pre-orders changed to December. So
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I will try to find out.
You just write the books.
I just write them. Publisher handles all the other stuff. I just write them and go on podcasts about it.
Guitar Hero Arrow says, super interested in the inner workings of the industry, but Blizzard games aren't my jam. Will people like me still enjoy Play Nice? Parentheses, Jason, you're the best.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Especially if you like my first two books, this one I think is my best one yet, and I think it'll be really interesting, even if you don't care about Blizzard games, because so much of it is like I wrote it in a way that it will hopefully be appealing even to people who don't play games, because so much of it is relatable and kind of can be extrapolated to apply to many industries and many fields and many people, because there's so many themes like creativity versus business and kind of like the struggles of creating a culture, creating a healthy, positive culture, especially when you start out as like an all dudes, like frat house like place. There's a lot in here that I think you will find really interesting. And the kind of the quest for infinite growth and the way live service games change a company. There's just so much
All
in
the
here.
Bobby Kotick stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. You will learn quite a lot about Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, I think that's the thing for me. One of the reasons I think I love the book so much is that reading a lot of your other two ones, right? There's stories I'm so familiar with that I either was covering or, like paying attention to or whatever.
Yeah.
And for Blizzard is such a blind spot for me as somebody who gave up on PC gaming right before right in high school, right?
Yeah, and then came back to it.
Of course, here I am.
And now we're hardcore PC.
I've been spreading the word. You know, again, you got me playing WoW.
Yeah,
I had to download the controller mod, but I did it. You know what I mean? But it's all because it was like, oh, Blizzard is this blind spot for me. I know Diablo because I love Diablo, but Diablo starts with Diablo 3 for me. So it was interesting to go through there and like pick up and see where it's like, oh man, like WoW for me feels like it was so long ago, but then reading this and being like, oh man, it's like 2 years before IGN when I started IGN. I'm like, that's crazy. And I remember the obsession and all the stuff. And it's a great book and it's a great read. Even if you don't care about Blizzard.
Yeah, I think it's going to be appealing to people even if you don't care about Blizzard.
Yeah, and I want to back that up. Today I just finished the book and it was really incredible. And I've only played a little bit of Overwatch. Like that's my connection to Blizzard. And I'm also younger, so like all of this was a great history lesson, and it's a must read if you are at all listening to this podcast or into the video game industry. It's incredible.
Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that.
We're going to talk about it in the GAMESCAST next, so don't burn it all, everybody.
Cool.
All right, we got to get more compliments for you.
No burning cast.
Joshy G says Bandai is doing the same thing with releasing too many trading card games. They've made 6 new card games in the last 4 years, and a 7th is on the way.
Wow.
And then just for the hell of it, Maris is celebrating. Invincible Season 3 is coming out on February 6th. Let's fucking go. Yes, of course. We're all excited about Invincible. No mid-season break. I'm stoked about that. We ask people watching live on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames and twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames to go to kindoffunny.com/you're wrong and tell me what I screw up as I screw it up. Mr. Turtle writes in and says, Greg actually gave Trey a friendly back rub, then caressed the back of his head. Here's the video. It starts at 3:18. And there it is. And then people are like, I can't.
Oh, he looks so uncomfortable.
Like, I can't believe you touched him.
Want that.
Can't believe you touched him.
Look at his reaction.
We were in a very much an ad-lib state up there, all right? When you hire Greg to do the panel, I'm up there, and whatever happens, okay?
I've got to say, I've never met Trey, but Matt Stone, when I met him last week, incredibly sweet and kind, and I really enjoyed it.
I never hosted another South Park panel, so maybe
that tracks. Huh. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Kebabs writes in and says, according to IGN, BioWare says Dragon Age has no preload on PC because it has no DRM of any kind.
What does one have to do with the other?
I mean, I can, okay. You know what I mean? That's what Kebabs is just telling me what's going on. We can read the IGN story.
Review codes have gone out for that yet? I've been on
review
the road.
Codes, as I said yesterday. Dragon Age Veilguard review codes have not gone out.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I can tell you that is because I don't have it. And as soon as I start saying, well, I have nothing to say on that matter, that I have the review code, right?
Yeah.
Wesley Yinpool has the article here, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be...
dude, I can't fucking wait.
And this game, the stakes are like so high for BioWare.
Can this be a return to form?
Yeah.
Did you didn't preview? Did you do the preview event?
No, I saw it at Summer Games Fest, but I didn't play it.
I played it. Me and Andy went and did the preview event here.
Cool.
It was really good. Yeah, I'm
that's
very,
exciting.
very
I really, man, I am... despite my reputation as a chronicler of negative news sometimes, I am rooting for, I want this game to be good. I really hope this game is good.
Yeah, me too. And that's it. Yeah, I started reading the Wesley article, but it's not like very clear why the DRM is the problem. But there it is. But again, PC players, you get what you wanted. You wanted no DRM, enjoy it.
God, I have so much metaphor to play that I don't even know if I can handle Dragon Age 2.
That is the problem. It's just a deluge of great games right now.
Too much. It's too much good stuff. And then the new Golden Idol. Are you a Golden Idol fan? It
didn't work for me the first time, and I was looking for a detective game.
Interesting.
So
what did you not like about it?
I don't even remember. I think it was strictly just a mood thing.
Okay,
where I jumped in, and like maybe even the aesthetic of it wasn't what I wanted, or whatever. I ended up doing.
The aesthetic, it takes some getting used to.
Yeah,
the art style, but that game. That's brilliant game, and the sequel is about to come out.
Yeah.
Also, in addition to everything else.
And unlike you, for the sequel, I hope it tanks. I hope it's so bad. Barrett has it in we did the fantasy critic draft, and he's got it on his team. So as much as for your sake and all the fans, I hope that game's great. I hope it's just trash. I hope it's a 50 out of 10, and it just saves me. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
I digress, though. A lot of good games are coming out, but a great book is out called Play Nice.
Yeah, man.
Jason's going to hang out here for the GAMESCAST with us, and we're going to talk more about it. If you're not coming over, of course, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames to watch the GAMESCAST or listen to the next podcast. If you're on Twitch, you're fine. Just stay there. Of course, remember, you can pick up Play Nice right now. Jason, why should people
Also, an audiobook read by Ray Chase, the voice actor behind Noctis in Final Fantasy 15.
What's your elevator pitch? Of Play Nice for somebody who's not coming over to the GAMESCAST?
It's a book. It's about the history. It tells the story of Blizzard. 33 years of Blizzard's business and Blizzard's culture, and one of the biggest hit makers on the planet, and how it all just kind of went sideways.
In the future.
And the future, and whatever the future looks like.
I think it was. I've caught you on a few different things because you keep showing up on the podcast I listen to.
Yeah,
I believe it was Remap Radio where they were talking about the future and the next fall or whatever. They're like, well, there's still more things happening all the time. Anyways, I digress. We're going to talk about that on the Kind of Funny Gamescast up next. Remember, if you love the live talk shows we do here as an 11-person team, keeping you entertained all day long, make sure you subscribe to all the shows, whether it be on a podcast or youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, where of course you could use your Amazon Prime free Twitch membership on us. It expires every 30 days. It doesn't auto renew. They want you to forget about it and not give it away to anybody. We'd love to have it. However, I digress. Remember, the best way to support us is with that Kind of Funny membership. Patreon.com/kindoffunny, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Get all of our shows ad-free, the ability to watch the afternoon podcast, get your daily dose of me, Gregway, and an exclusive vlog/podcast. For now, I digress. We're going to go talk about Play Nice, a book you should pick up, and of course, you should support Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg each and every day. But for now, until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
Support Mike Bloomberg every single day.
Give me a handshake.